You have to be really intentional about putting a team together.
I was in!
Crawled out of the pound and started screaming.
How good is Joey Bosa?
Herbert, rolling, looking, throwing, end zone, touchdown, intercepted. Derwin, James. Derwin was there.
You got to be on a mission every day in the NFL. But even more than that, you got to be on a mission together.
Great hands, Keenan Allen.
The Los Angeles Chargers select Rashawn Slater.
Asante Samuel Jr. Stop. Oh, I'm stopping y'all boys. That's what it's intercepted. Picked off by Michael Davis. Explosiveness from Eckler. There's Murphy. Boy, he blew that up, didn't he? It is picked off. Nasir Adderley. 50-50 ball is 100%. Mike Williams. Portena, Nwosu. And that one is it. Time to fold up.
Welcome to another episode of Chargers Unleashed. Jake Hefner and Dan Wolkenstein here with you from the LA Football Network. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at LAC_Unleashed. If you're looking for year-round Chargers content, special guest episodes, be sure to subscribe to Chargers Unleashed on YouTube and wherever you find your podcast. This episode, of course, being brought to you by Brewery X, UFC Fit in Temecula, Charger Bolt Family, and Manscaped. Make sure to use the promo code LAFB20 and get free shipping at manscaped.com. If this is your first time tuning in, of course, welcome, and thank you for checking us out. Super excited today because we have a very special guest joining us. Dan, as always, I give you the floor. Please do the honors of telling everybody.
Yes, from the Macungie borough of Pennsylvania, former West Virginia Mountaineer safety, since transferred to linebacker when he was drafted by your Los Angeles Chargers. He wears the number 44 on the field, but the swag check is up to 100 right now, as he has arguably had the most impressive training camp and preseason of any Chargers player this year. A legitimate breakout candidate, Kyzir White, has been gracious enough to join us on Chargers Unleashed. Kyzir, thank you so much for joining the show. How are you? How is the family doing?
Thanks for having me, man. I'm doing pretty good. Can't complain, man. I'm blessed. Family is doing well, man. Thanks for asking.
Of course. How are you feeling after practice? I know you just got done. How are you feeling overall health-wise?
I'm feeling real good health-wise, man. You know, just trying to take care of my body every day. Even when I'm feeling good, trying to do the extra things that keep on top of it. Because I know when it get later in the year, start getting a little sluggish, you know. So just gotta stick with it, man. Especially out on this heat right now, August time in Cali, get a little hot. So gotta stick with it, man. Sure.
Yep. So we're going to talk about all kinds of things. We're going to have some fun today. We're going to talk about this Chargers team improvements. We'll talk about some of your expectations, get to know Kyzir White a bit more on and off the field, probably talk about this coaching staff and the linebacking core. And of course, we got to have some fun, do some rapid fire questions to close it out. But let's start with practice. Week 1 is so close. We can all taste it. One more preseason game before the party starts. You were out there at practice today. How are you feeling about the team? How's everybody jiving? Like, what was it like today? Anything that stuck out to you?
Man, I feel like we have a very competitive team, man. On both sides, we have a really good offense. I feel like we have a really good defense, good offensive coordinator, good defensive coordinator. So I feel like the competition in practice, man, I feel like it's always game-like when we get out there in practice. So, you know, you got to come and bring your A game every day or you'll go out there and get embarrassed, man. So I love the environment and I love going out there and practicing with those guys and just getting better each and every day.
All right. So you mentioned embarrassment. Let's give you a chance to dish it out and also take it. Who have you embarrassed this preseason or training camp? And who have you been embarrassed by?
I don't think I embarrassed nobody, man. I mean, you're going to get beat and you're going to lose reps. I can't say I embarrassed nobody.
I beg to differ. During that preseason game, you were blowing people up. I was like, okay.
Yeah, man. I was trying to make some plays, man. You know, get noticed a little bit.
Yeah. Okay. So sports. For those who don't know, sports have been a huge part of the White family. You and your two brothers all played football at West Virginia, and all crazy enough, were all drafted by NFL teams. Mm-hmm. You've all played different positions growing up. Even your sister plays basketball. Yeah. I read that you dabbled a bit at wide receiver and corner a bit in high school. Just kind of talk to us a little bit about like growing up in a family of athletes and what that brings in terms of like competition and battles and maybe like, I don't know, I was just kind of thinking out loud. Do you think that maybe brought you some sort of like advantage growing up in the
sure.
way you kind of have that versatility in your game now?
Yeah, definitely, man. So I'm one of 7, and I'm the second youngest, but I'm the youngest boy. So, how my father and my mom raised us, it's like, you got to stick up for yourself. Don't be a punk. So my big brothers, I wouldn't say they was bullies per se, but I had to stick up for myself and learn how to defend for myself, whether we playing basketball, football, whether we in the house, and who want the last slice of pizza. You gotta, you gotta kind of stick up for yourself. So we was always out in the front of the house playing football, playing basketball. Everything we did was competitive. We used to play Madden all the time, play for push-ups. And my dad, my dad is the most competitive person I know, and he gonna talk trash to you. So
There we go.
We kind of had thick skin at a young age. We had to, because my dad would beat up on us in the game or in football or basketball, and he talking trash, and we looking at him like, Dad, well, your son, you know that? Like, why you talking trash like that? You just know how the world is, man. The world ain't always gonna be nice to you. So he wanted to build that thick skin, with us at a young age. So we get to this level, and it's like you can kind of block out the negative, noise. So I feel like, man, growing up in the environment I grew up in, it definitely was an advantage for me because it was very competitive at a young age, man.
And real quick, just on that, you played a bunch of positions, and you went from safety, and now you're playing linebacker. But you played corner, wide receiver. When did you know that you were going to be on the defensive side of the ball?
So, man, what's crazy was my whole life I thought I would be a running back because I was always the smallest on my team. I was always the quickest and fastest. I was real small. Then I started hitting the growth spurt in high school. And I'm like, dang, like this is kind of weird. I'm not used to being this tall. So I had to transform. People go through that little awkward stage where you got to learn how to move with your body. And, you see that all the time. So that's when I transitioned from running back to receiver. I feel like I was a pretty good receiver, man. I definitely did, especially with my brother Kev and Karan playing receiver. Receiver a little more flashy. You get the attention, score touchdowns. I'm like, I think I want to play receiver. But I was snapping my junior and senior year at corner. I'm talking pick sixes. I mean, I'm locking down the best receivers in the valley I was in. So I'm like, I like receiver, but I feel like defense was just always most natural for me. And then I knew I was going to start getting my weight up a little bit. So I'm like, dang, corner might not be it. The spell, I'm saying 205, 210 as a freshman. I'm like, might be a box safety, So I kind of knew, defense going to be it for me.
Talking with Kyzir White here on Chargers Unleashed. Now, Kyzir, you're entering year 4 with the Chargers, and so many people have talked about how different this year feels for this Chargers team. For you, because obviously you're seeing it more intricate than anybody else, but what are some of the tangible differences that you see with this year's team under this coaching regime as opposed to years past?
I think Coach Staley, man, he just has a real good plan in place for us, man. He sets us up to be successful. I feel like all the players are buying in. When he speaks, we listen. I just feel like he got a good thing going, and we just following his lead, man, and taking it day by day because we know we have something special here. But we're good as potential. We don't go out there and show what we about, man. So I just feel like it's something different, man. I feel like we're gonna have a real good year this year.
And you've said that this is the best that you've personally felt physically. I believe this is the heaviest that you've also ever been, and you're playing faster. And we mentioned it at the top. You've been flashing all over the place during camp and in preseason. You have your tackles, your pick six, your sacks. Coaches and teammates and fans have all noticed it.
Mm-hmm.
What or who do you feel has maybe contributed to your biggest improvements so far this season?
With me, man, going into this year, I know, year 4, I didn't want to come into this year and be like, I got to do this, I got to do that. I just putting too much pressure on myself. I just kind of, man, I have a lot of self-talks, man, and just try to I'm always motivated, but, I just try to go out there. I know what's at hand. So I just try to go out there and be the best version of myself. I don't really try to play the compare game. Oh, this linebacker did this, so I got to do that. I just really, really try to be the best Kyzir White I can be. And, the past few years, I feel like I showed flashes of what I can do, but I wouldn't say I was the most consistent that I can be. So that's something I was striving for coming into this offseason. Let's be reliable. Let's be consistent. Let's minimize the mistakes. And let's make the big time plays that I know I can make. I feel like before I was kind of thinking a little too much. Where it's like, I've been playing football my whole life, man. It's nothing new. Let's just go out here and have fun and get back to the basics, man.
There was a quote that Coach Staley said last month when he was talking about you. He mentioned just the way that you play. You move like a safety, but you hit like a linebacker. And obviously, everybody that followed your collegiate career throughout West Virginia when you were taken, we saw very early on in your first year what the plan for you was when they put you in that linebacker position, even though you had the safety history at West Virginia. Mm-hmm. I had a thought process after this quote. And it was just, I wanted just some insight from you, because with there being, a lot of new faces, especially in the secondary, was there ever a thought process, given your history playing safety, that Coach Staley ever brought up to you to say, look, if we're ever in a jam and we need you to be.
A lot of people kept tagging me and stuff on Twitter, like, hey, I can see Kyzir White, playing some safety. And I'm thinking like, yeah, I got the history, but man, I'm like 245 now. I don't know if I still got that in me. You know what I mean?
Just thought
the linebacker thing a little bit more.
Yeah, I just thought emergency scenario, last ditch effort. Did they look to you to possibly bail the team out?
I gotta ask Staley about that. I mean, I'll definitely do it for sure. But after stepping on that scale and being 245, I don't know if he's gonna think that's a smart idea, man.
You got to make sure. You got to make sure that Jake Hefner is told by Brandon Staley that you need you at safety, and see what he says.
I got you. I got you, man.
Speaking of Coach Staley, he's talked about you, Drue, Tranquill being co-starters along Kenneth Murray this year. Can you elaborate a little bit on what he and Coach Hill envision for getting the three of you guys on the field? Because obviously you guys are all playmakers in such different ways, but bring such a physical presence to the defense. So can you elaborate on what the plan is?
Yeah, I think what he means by that is I want to say just all of us, getting a chance to play a lot of football, not really it being, okay, you're starting this week, so this guy's going to be on the bench for the whole game, but more of a way of where we could all work in the game, and he'll set us up for success. And okay, you go on for this series and do what you do, and that's the kind of thing that I feel like that's what Coach Staley means by that when he say co-starters.
Now it's kind of interesting too, because I think when we had Drue Tranquill on a while back, he had said, when Coach Staley comes in, we're used to having all those DBs in the field. He's going to try to take away our role at linebacker. He's like, I take that personal. Have you like?
So when we started training camp, we know when he was with the Rams, there was a lot of DBs, and we looking at each other like, man, we really got some linebackers. We feel like we got some linebackers that can go in this room. So training camp, let's show up on tape and let's make them think a little different, So that's what we tried to do. We took it personal this training camp, like Coach Staley with a lot of DBs. So come on, linebackers, let's get it. Come on now.
I love hearing that. Now we've heard you in the past, and even recently, as of a couple days ago, you mentioned you're playing more downhill, more aggressively. You're not thinking as much. You've expressed how much excitement you have for this defense. Like, what specifically about Staley or Hill, maybe even just a scheme that has benefited you the most, or maybe just individual plays in general? It just seems like everybody is having so much more fun now.
Yeah, I mean, the scheme is definitely fun. It's exciting. It lets you play fast, physical. He just got a good system in place, man. And if we all buy in, I feel like we'll be successful, man.
Now we're wrapping up with Kyzir White, number 44, your linebacker of the Los Angeles Chargers. Before we get into some rapid fire questions, we got one more for you. And we'll probably get different answers depending on which group or player or coach we talk to. But I'm curious, from your perspective, what would you say are the biggest strengths of this Chargers defense?
Well, like as far as offense and defense?
Yeah, or just the defense particularly.
The strengths, I feel like we real fast, man. I feel like from the D-line to the linebackers to the secondary, I feel like we can all run really well.
Ooh, it's going to look good on Sundays.
Yeah, I feel like speed is definitely a strength of our team.
Okay, love it. All right, let's get a temperature risen a little bit. Let's get some sweat on the eyebrows. You ready for some rapid fire questions, Kyzir?
Let's do it.
All right, here we go. Most swag on offense,
Keenan
and most swag on defense.
Most swag on defense. I'm gonna go. Damn, that's tough. Defense is tough. I'm gonna go Nazir Adderley on defense. Him and Derwin.
Oh,
Him and Derwin. I'm gonna say.
Give us a Nas story, because that's the first time I've heard him with the most swag.
I like Nas. He had a mirror visor. I really like that. I like that look. I think that's a little swaggy. I like that look on.
Love it. All right, so clearly football is the sport that you are best at. What sport are you the worst at?
Baseball. Terrible at baseball. I can't hit to save my life.
That's why you hit people, not baseballs, right?
Yeah, I can't hit to save my life, man.
All right, so let's talk about food for a sec. You lived in Pennsylvania for a bit. You got Permane Brothers, you got the Pittsburgher there, got Philly cheesesteaks. Now you're in SoCal, got Southern California cuisine, got acai bowls, Mexican food, fusion, sushi. Which cuisine are you taking? Pennsylvania or Southern California?
Pennsylvania, man.
Oh!
Pennsylvania. Got to.
What?
Pennsylvania.
Why? What's on your menu at Pennsylvania?
I mean, I'm a big cheesesteak guy. So, you go down to Philly, get D'Alessandro's, get a cheesesteak from there. And, you're feeling good for the rest of the day, man. And then that's what I'm used to. So, you know what I mean? I still got a bunch of different spots out in Cali I still haven't hit yet that I got to try.
all right, guys. Here, I usually am the resident movie buff between Dan and I, so I always enjoy asking this question. Best football movie to you of all time?
Best football movie. Remember the Titans.
Oh,
great answer.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Best concert that Kyzir White ever attended?
A J. Cole concert in Madison Square Garden.
Ooh, very nice. Very nice. Now, I'm hoping that, especially with last year's camp being mostly virtual, I'm hoping that you guys were able to do more of the traditional things like the rookie show that I know teams usually do. But
give me the. Do that this year.
You didn't even do that this year. Wow. Okay, I thought this was for sure going to go into this because I was going to ask what's been the funniest moment of camp and preseason thus far?
Funniest moment. That's tough. You got me with that. I'm not sure. I can't really pinpoint one
okay,
moment.
Could we think of one since your time with the team that you can remember? Funniest moment with the team.
Funniest moment. Drue Tranquill actually singing. We had a rookie show, his rookie year, and he was singing Old Town Road, and he was dancing a little bit up there. It was the funniest thing I ever seen. Funniest thing.
That's great.
Yeah, for sure.
I recently saw, speaking of funniest, I recently saw, I don't know if you saw it, but I think it's called like On the Sticks with Derwin and with Kenneth Murray. Did you see that episode that they did?
Oh, them playing a video game?
Oh my gosh,
I've seen a couple highlights. I didn't see like the whole episode, but I seen some highlights.
But at one point, Derwin obviously is known for Madden, and then you see Kenneth Murray, and Derwin's like, "Hey, I need you to make sure you put it on all Madden." And then
I've seen
and
that.
then deadpan, Kenneth Murray goes to rookie.
Yeah, I've seen that, man.
I was dying.
Madden, though. There's no point in playing.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're wrapping up with Kyzir White of your Los Angeles Chargers. All right, Kyzir. After a Chargers win, how is Kyzir White celebrating the evening? Like, what's the food spread? What's the vibe? What are you doing?
Oh, I got to get some good food. Kings and Queens Cantina out in Santa Monica with the fam. Fire. The Surf and Turf Tacos. If you've ever been there, you got to check that out, man. Yeah, I'd probably hit that spot with my fam. Go to the house, relax. Good vibes with the family, man.
I love it. All right, you are officially off the hot seat. You are good. Okay. Bravo, my friend. Hey, Kyzir White, man. Ladies and gentlemen, has joined us on Chargers Unleashed. Kyzir, thank you so much. This has been so much fun. We can't wait to see you ball out. I know you've had such an incredible preseason, such an incredible training camp, and the buzz around you and your play is real. We've seen you in preseason just go crazy. And so can't wait to see you and the rest of this group ball out this year, have fun, stay healthy, and good luck the rest of the year, all right?
I appreciate you guys, man. Thanks for having me on.
You as well, buddy.
All right, have a good one.
The Los Angeles Chargers select Rashawn Slater.
Asante Samuel Jr.
Stop! Oh, I'm stopping y'all boys. That's what I'm
Intercepted. Picked off by Michael Davis.
Explosiveness from Eckler.
There's Murphy. Boy, he blew that up, didn't he?
It is picked off. Nasir Adderley. 50-50 ball is 100%. Mike Williams.
Ortega
Uwosu, and that will end it. Time to bolt up.